Hi basketball fans, welcome back to the channel. Before we dive in, smash that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and hit subscribe for all the behind-the-scenes stories in college basketball. What happened when LSU absolutely exploded for 103 points against Alabama at home? One moment, the Tigers were running their usual offense, the next, they were dominating in every facet, scoring at will, moving the ball perfectly, and shutting down Alabama on defense. And at the center of it all? Kim Mulkey, making halftime adjustments, spreading the ball, and showing exactly why she's one of the most feared coaches in women's college basketball. By the end of the night, the scoreboard told one story, but the real story was in Mulkey's strategy, her team's depth, and the unstoppable energy that left Alabama reeling. The LSU Tigers had been waiting for a night like this. The kind of game where everything clicks, every player finds a rhythm, and the scoreboard becomes a storytelling device in itself. When Alabama walked into Pete Maravich Assembly Center, few expected what was about to unfold. By the end of the night, the Tigers had put together a 103-63 home victory, a blowout that wasn't just about points on a board, but about identity, depth, and the philosophy of one of the most formidable coaches in college basketball, Kim Mulkey. From the opening tip, LSU looked different, focused, sharp, and unrelenting. The Tigers moved the ball with precision, cutting and screening with the kind of timing that can only come from hours of practice, from ingrained habits that Mulkey has spent decades perfecting. Alabama struggled to keep pace, their defense scrambling to react to the speed, precision, and unselfishness of the LSU attack. Every possession felt deliberate. Every pass had a purpose. Every shot seemed part of a larger plan. By the end of the first quarter, the Tigers had already made their statement. This wasn't just a win they were after, it was domination. After the game, Kim Mulkey's voice carried the calm authority of someone who had seen every kind of victory, every kind of upset, every kind of game that left spectators holding their breath. Yet even in a blowout, she spoke in three clear, resonant themes that defined the night and the program she has built. First, she reflected on the balance and efficiency of her stars. In a game where 11 players scored, Mulkey noted that her top performers didn't have to carry the offensive load alone. Instead of forcing difficult shots or taking unnecessary risks, they played smart, shared the ball, and allowed role players to thrive. Tonight, our stars didn't have to do it all, she said. They found the open teammates. They trusted each other. And that made all the difference. In her philosophy, basketball is never about individual heroics. Even in a game where her team poured in over 100 points, it was the harmony, the timing, and the shared responsibility that mattered most. Second, Mulkey highlighted team depth and unselfish play. In her post-game reflections, she couldn't stop talking about how the bench and supporting cast contributed. Every player who logged minutes had a hand in the scoring, and the assists told a story of unselfishness, 20 assists in total. It wasn't just about putting numbers on the board, it was about reinforcing the culture of contribution that Mulkey has built. When everyone touches the ball, everyone feels a part of the victory, she explained. That's when the team becomes unstoppable. The Tigers' dominance was as much about coaching philosophy as it was about talent. It was a statement that LSU's system could elevate any player who bought in, creating opportunities not just for stars, but for the whole roster. Finally, Mulkey praised defensive effort as the engine of the blowout. From the opening minutes, LSU set the tone with aggressive defense, pressuring the ball, forcing turnovers, and converting every mistake into points. Alabama struggled to maintain composure as the Tigers' pressure created opportunities in transition, and Mulkey's strategic adjustments only amplified the effect. In her eyes, defense wasn't just about stopping the opponent, it was about dictating the pace, establishing control, and building confidence. Defense leads to offense, she reminded reporters. If we're locked in defensively, everything else becomes easier. In a game that looked effortless on the stat sheet, the defensive backbone was anything but easy. It was disciplined, intentional, and relentless. As the clock wound down and the final buzzer sounded, the crowd erupted, but Mulkey's focus remained measured. She didn't dwell on the margin of victory. She didn't revel in the spectacle. Instead, her attention was already on the next challenge, the next opponent, the next opportunity to teach her players what it means to compete at the highest level. In her mind, the game wasn't over just because Alabama had been dominated. The lesson, the growth, and the discipline were what mattered most. For the players, the victory was exhilarating, but the true takeaway was the philosophy reinforced in real time. Basketball is a team sport, stars shine brightest when they share, depth is power, and defense drives identity. Every point, every assist, every stop on defense told the story of a program built to succeed not just in one game, but across an entire season. Mulkey's Tigers didn't just win, they demonstrated what it means to execute, to trust, and to embody a culture that turns a team into a machine. By the end of the night, the scoreboard read 103-63, but the story of the game was more than numbers. It was about Kim Mulkey's leadership, the rise of team cohesion, and the relentless pursuit of excellence that defines LSU women's basketball. And while fans celebrated the blowout, Mulkey's vision was already stretching ahead, plotting the next steps, knowing that domination is only meaningful when it's sustainable, repeatable, and grounded in the principles that have built champions. In the quiet moments after the celebration, when the confetti settles and the cameras stop rolling, Mulkey's message is clear: balance, depth, and defense are the pillars of lasting success. The Alabama game was not an anomaly, it was a blueprint. And for anyone paying attention, the Tigers' journey this season is just beginning. And that's the story. LSU didn't just win, they sent a statement. Kim Mulkey's coaching, the team's depth, and their relentless defense turned a big game into a blowout, proving why this program is a powerhouse. If you loved this breakdown, smash that like, drop a comment with your take on Mulkey's strategy, and subscribe so you never miss the inside stories behind the biggest moments in college basketball. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next.